Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being here today. I appreciate the opportunity to hear from all of you about the importance of trade and the importance of TPA. I strongly support the push to get Trade Promotion Authority enacted as soon as possible. There are so many American manufacturers and farmers and service providers that can access and benefit from fast-growing economies around the world. And TPA at its core is about building new trade relationships in a world where 95% of the population lives outside the United States and 80% of the purchasing power is outside the United States. And I use my own state of South Dakota as an example. 20 years ago, 11% of the jobs in my state were related to exports and to trade, and now that's 22%. So it's literally doubled. 1 in 5 in South Dakota jobs depend on international trade. So you consider a state like mine, which has a small population. We rank 13th in terms of agricultural exports, and it's about $2 billion a year just in oilseeds and grain. So I see this as an opportunity to open up even more market opportunities to our products and to grow those numbers. And I think this debate is long overdue. My only regret is that it's taken us this long to get here. Unfortunately, every president, literally since Franklin Roosevelt's had this authority, and I'm glad that President Obama has chosen to request it, even though it's unfortunately, in my view, been delayed now for 4 years. So time to get it done. I wanted to mention one thing, and I guess I would direct this to you, Mr. Cody. One of the most important benefits of TPA legislation that's been introduced by the Chairman and Senator Hatch is the issue, I think, of digital trade. And last December, Senator Wyden and I introduced the Digital Trade Act, which includes, modernizes basically our trade laws to reflect the Internet-enabled world in which we now live and do business. And so I'm very pleased that this TPA legislation that we're discussing today includes a robust section on digital trade with provisions addressing nearly all of the issues that are included in my bill. And I will just say, as by way of example, that the TPA bill seeks to prohibit unjustified barriers to the free flow of data across borders, as well as forced localization policies that are designed to favor foreign businesses over U.S. businesses by compelling those businesses to choose local infrastructure, such as data storage, Internet, or email services. And so I would say just to you, Mr. Cody, as someone who is the CEO of a global company, can you comment on how important it is that we have provisions in our trade agreements that put American businesses on a level playing field as it relates to local businesses in foreign markets?
In general, I'd have to say I'm always in favor of a more level playing field so that we can compete effectively around the world. I'm not completely conversant with the details of what you just described in the bill, but I would say that I'm in favor of free flow generally, of whether it's goods, services, digital trade, on a level playing field, because that'll increase trade and I think benefit everybody.
Thanks. Mr. Allen, and I assume my colleague from Iowa, Senator Grassley's probably already covered this to some extent, but in your testimony you discussed barriers that are facing U.S. agriculture in foreign markets, such as unscientific sanitary and phytosanitary measures, or what we call SPS measures. As you may know, the TPA legislation includes provisions to ensure that SPS commitments by our trading partners will be enforceable, binding, and subject to effective dispute settlement. This is especially important in the context of trade agreements where our trading partners make commitments that go beyond WTO rules. So could you just comment on, on this particular issue and how important it is that we have binding and enforceable rules to prevent unscientific barriers to American agriculture?
It's absolutely important. We run into this scenario often in the apple industry based on insects and pests. We have an ongoing situation right now with Israel, which is a great trading party for the United States, and specifically New York State with apples. And we've been working under a protocol that's been accepted and documented, and research proves it for decades. Yet, most recently, they have tried to change the protocol to make it much more difficult. I think under a trade agreement and that was negotiated properly, we would avoid that, because we feel that they're using that as a barrier, because there isn't a lot of data to reinforce the reasoning behind their requests.
Okay. Just very quickly, and anybody who chooses to comment on this, maybe Mr. Cody, the 3 trade agreements that we got in 2011 were really important. There was a big push for Russia PNTR in 2012. In both cases, it took the active involvement of the White House. And it's been pointed out that the trade rep's not here today, but could you just comment on how important White House involvement is going to be to enacting TPA? And this isn't something, obviously, that Congress, in my view, can do without active engagement of the executive branch. But would you
Well,
care to comment on that?
The executive branch, along with the Congress, is going to have to work together to get this done, and I think that's why the USTR has been very much involved in trying to get something done here, and we should. Everybody's going to have to work together.
Thank you, Senator, very much.
Well, and Mr.
Appreciate it.
Chairman, I would say I hope they lean into it, and I really wish we had our trade rep here today. Thank you.